Well, shalom, everybody. Welcome to House Discipleship Institute, where, as you can see, this is a TerrorBite, where the Father gave and allowed me to use His Word for you to be encouraged and edified to become a threat, a terror, and a revenger to the kingdom of darkness. Just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the subscribe button, share this video with a family, with a friend who needs truth and who needs to be encouraged daily. That's why we do these TerrorBites, to encourage the disciple, the listener who has eyes to see and ears to hear what the Shemaim, the heavenly Ruach HaKodesh, Yahushua HaMashiach, and Yahuah is speaking. Now, a lot of things are changing. This past couple of days now, actually just this past holiday that passed, and I'm using that term because I'm going to use it very loosely for you guys. Christmas passed, and yet Yahuwah's word remains the same. Christmas always changes, but yet Yahuwah's word never comes back to him void. The Father is always looking for disciples who are willing to represent His kingdom, His sovereignty, 110%. What am I saying? They're willing to lay their life down for their fellow brethren, not to be falling into twisted teachings or the mystery of iniquity. I came across this particular... Dr. Robert Gonzalez and I, we were talking one night where we were watching, I think it was a football game or a basketball game, but we were just talking, mid-rashing. And, I looked up on something and it said, public notice. Christmas was illegal in the U.S. until 1836, as it was considered an ancient pagan holiday because of its satanic practices. Now, some of you may or may not know, Christmas was and is, and I'm not gonna lie, if I was in the world, I would say Christmas is a wonderful time to be with the family, where I can see everybody get together, so on and so forth. The old is past, but new things are to come. I came to the truth when I came to know His name, Yahushua, and I said, Father, show me your way. He said, okay, go to Exodus 26. He showed me the tabernacle of Moses and how Yahushua was hidden in the tabernacle of Moses. He also showed me one thing that was shocking to me. Christmas wasn't in the Bible. Like the Home Alone reference, part 2. It's not in the scriptures. I'm sorry to tell you. I can't find these two words together, Merry and Christmas. Though I find the word merry because it says in the last days everybody will be drinking and will be merry. But yet I still cannot find the word Christmas in the Bible, in the King James, in the Tanakh, in the Torah, in the Nevi'im, or Ketubim. I can't find it there because it's not in there. I want to say I give you $2,000 to anyone who can find the word Christmas in the Bible, in the King James, in the Tanakh, and the Brit Hadashah, the Renewed Covenant. It's not in there. For some of you who may or may not know, House to House Discipleship Institute, we're a people who are discipling one another, sharpening each other's iron. As iron sharpens iron, so does the word work. And I'm paraphrasing, I'm using these two together because if you become and understand what the scripture means by becoming the Word made flesh, then you'd understand what it means to walk out salvation with the fear and trembling of Yahuwah. Because when you understand His ways and you understand His ordinances and you understand His feasts and how to operate in them, like Leviticus 23 says, then you begin to understand that Christmas is not a part of the scriptures. Neither is this day called New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Before I get to that, let me give you a brief summary of what Christmas is. Saint Nick, good old Saint Nick, is actually a pagan term that was coined, phrased, and covered up to make it look good, but really good old jolly Saint Nick is a paraphrase which actually is defined as Satan. Old Nick, in certain dictionaries, I can't remember what it was, but you got to hear me out in this one. When you research it, please be like a Berean and research out all matters to make sure that it pertains to truth, to the Torah. When you understand that old Saint Nick is coined and paraphrased and in similitude and hidden for the name of Hasatan or Satan, then you're actually going to be able to understand, wait a minute, I've been, sowing seed to this pagan holiday, to this old Saint Nick. Well, you know what? They did that back in the day and they still do that today. This is what the summary of Christmas was and is. when in ancient times, during the time of Nimrod, and a little bit years to come, and now today, what would happen is married couples or even single parents or anything like that would offer up their living babies to a pagan deity which defied Yahuah, defied the Torah, and defied his ordinances. And they'd offer up this baby, the living baby, and sacrifice it to this pagan deity. The Father never did that. The Father had intimacy with himself and sent himself out disguised as in the Son to die for humanity before the Lamb, before the world, before the foundations of the world, the Lamb was slain. The manifestation of it was at Calvary's stake, not cross, stake. Because I've been talking with this one atheist and he's always challenging me. He said, "Hey Josh," I was like, "What's up?" And this is at my work, construction job. And he says, "I read it in the Bible," and, you know, he doesn't know the term Bible, but anyways, he said, "I read in the Bible that, you know, Yeshua Jesus," you say? I was like, "Yeah." "Yeshua Jesus never died on a cross, because if he did, how come there were 2 nails instead of 3? Now, wait a minute, think about that one. I'm going to go on the rabbit hole there. So, 1 nail in the one hand, another nail in the other, that's 2 nails. But if history says he died on a cross, then that means the cross that we're saying is our hands are extended out like this, and on top of that too, there'd be another nail on our feet. So that's 1, 2, and 3 right there. He read in the scriptures, an atheist, read in the scriptures that the Father sent the Son to die on a stake with 2 nails. 2 of them pierced his hand, while the other one pierced his feet. There's a lot to say in that one, but enough with that. I just want you to please be like a Berean and research all matters to make sure that everything is true. Because we've been lied to, bamboozled, bombarded, to a point where our identity was stolen by the devil and the Vatican, who work hand in hand. I want to finish with this one too. When, you know, a week later, then everybody goes into this New Year's Eve, New Year's resolution, and New Year's Day. Oh, wonderful. Oh, joyful. Well, here's the thing. If you're a disciple of the Most High, then you already know that being a disciple means your life is not your own. What am I saying? When you become the Word made flesh and make the incision in your heart, research everything, meditate in here, and drop it down 12 inches here to your heart, you're going to understand that New Year's Eve is another way to say it's another day where portals are being made and chaos and confusion are coming your way. I didn't mean to rhyme that one, but it happened. But anyways, that's what happens. Portals are opening up and churches are opening up their doors where they release their faith for 1-2 days. They release their faith every 24/7 as far as I know. But when it comes to New Year's, they get all radical and pumped up. And then what happens? They open doors to chaos, confusion, and debauchery. If and when you come to the summation that your life is not your own and you are a disciple of the Most High who is being governed and who is under governors and tutors and bishops, and not bishops like the Vatican by the Pope, but I'm talking about those who bishop your soul and put your soul in the parameters of truth. Those are the ones that are held accountable to the Word to say, I taught your son, your servant's son, everything that I was taught and was given to perpetuate the same cycle of sowing seed. I sow the seed, I reap the seed. We don't want to have our own seed being sacrificed to pagan gods. We're having that today, and yet that's why everything's been running amok, because we are blinded, not realizing what the real lies are. Realize. I know I said a lot there. I know there's a lot to say here, but I just want to say this in this TerrorBite. In these pagan holidays, in these days, can you really keep yourself kadosh? Can you be like, as it says in the book of 1 Peter, be ye kadosh as I am kadosh? That's what the Father's saying today. Can you keep yourself kadosh, set apart in better terms? Can you set yourself apart for His will's sake, for His name's sake? Most of all, the Father always puts and esteems His word greater than Himself. That's my question to you today. If you want to rule and reign, can you restore His name by esteeming his word greater than yourself. That's why your life will never be the same once you come to the salvation knowledge of who Yahushua HaMashiach is. And don't get me wrong, I'm probably going to get hated on this because I said, oh, it's Yahushua, but the name is Jesus. Wrong. Go back to our archives and actually study out Hail Zeus Krishna, the playlist there. You'll begin to realize what truth is when you begin to realize why that real lies comes into play today. We're not discipling. Yeshua said, go out into the world and make disciples. But yet we're building churches. And in the Webster's Dictionary, it says a church is a circus. And then it also says, go out into the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He didn't say, call yourself Gentiles, and yet you're all the same saved. Once saved, always saved. That's not in the scriptures, because if you understand Jude, there's common salvation, book of Acts, great salvation, the book of Hebrews, eternal salvation, then you're going to understand what the Father was trying to say to his disciples. It's a mouthful right there. All I got to say is this. That's good coffee. All I got to say is this. As you are growing and ascending deeper and deeper in the parameters of Yahuwah's Torah, my question to you is this: can you really keep yourself kadosh in these pagan days? And I just want to say this before I go out. Once again, my name is Elder Joshua Malara, here at House to House Discipleship Institute, bringing you another TerrorBite, lifting you, encouraging you, and having you question everything you live that pertains to Him. Amen. I just want to say this, as one brother says to another, in regards to having favor and esteem to you and upon you. Shalom.